was born in Russia, and lived in Czechoslovakia in 1968. When the Warsaw Pact invaded Czechoslovakia, I managed to go to Austria. So I lived in Austria for a while, and waiting for visa. So it was a debating kind of, there were several countries I could go, but the American attaché, to be exact, he talked me into. He said, "Boris, go to America. America is for you." The United States, my organization, did not pay anything for us. I signed paper that we agree with any work that they can offer. We were political refugees.
Practice it for another 10 more months. Hips low, as the coach is saying. Keeping your weight down, keeping the face and neck controlled by your weight on person. And phenomenal. Coach Boris is strong.
That's just how I got lucky.
Good. It was great reviewing the control positions, and you definitely feel the difference when you're trying to hold somebody and you just kind of let go and be on them when you're just pressing out the face of that.
They all come together at one time. It was just one foot. That's it. No one works out. It's good. It's good to go.
Cool. Any comments, thoughts?
I just learned that I'm in bad shape. I need to be in better shape. I would observe that. I think it just the suggestion would be just to, especially when you're below, somebody's on the top of you, just try all kind of quick moves in all kind of directions. Twist whatever is possible, and find that the easiest way, the least resistance. But somehow you will find it, but you got to twiggle too, a little bit back and forth, I would say. That's how I started Sambo. Sambo I started back in Russia. I was about 18 years old. Not Sambo actually. I started Greek Roma. I was wrestling for a while. Then I switched to freestyle. And then when I went to college, there was a good Sambo group. In my college, they were champion of Russia several times. Not Russia, champions of St. Petersburg, Leningrad at that time. They were runner-ups for Burevestnik, which was the sports club among students. So I was a champion of the institute, the college, what we called institute. It was actually institute, not a college, but same thing. And then I was runner-up in Latvian Republic Championship. So that's second place there. That was my best achievement. I said I was young, so I left Russia. I was relatively young, so if I would continue, I'd probably achieve a little bit more.
Sure.
So that was my. Then I came here, and I was in good shape. I was eager to really practice again this Sambo or just wrestling, workout, something like that. I tried several clubs, which were teaching kung fu or kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and karate. Nobody was interested in. So I went to YMCA, and I met a guy who was, I think, he was I don't know, he was called, second in command after the director of YMCA. And he was a judo, he had a judo black belt, and he was very interested. So and we formed a class there in the YMCA, and so I was teaching for a while, several months, and then I kind of, I had a conflict with my working schedule, working in this a while, and just started getting injuries a little bit, and kind of my class kind of not for fun, just people started doing that. I got the feedback later. I was very tough coach, you know. That's the way I was taught, you know. And I was following pretty much the same practice technique that my coach used to apply on us, you know.
And what was your coach's name?
Rem Solonitsev. He was a champion of Russia and runner-up. He's a honorary master of sport. You know, he was good. He has PhD. He's a professor now, an academic, still alive, 77-year-old. You know. And that was one of the reasons maybe the students said it's too tough, you know, too hard for them, and some they started dropping out. And then I also had a problem with my schedule, and I injured my elbows, both elbows. So that's kind of died out. But I was pleased that, you know, people. I made a point, you know, people just got interested, you know, and they, including publishers, and they interviewed me and published as a first American instructor, and so I was. At least I was, you know, proud that I did a small step toward development, you know, promoting the Sambo in the United States. You have a lot of means to do that. That time, it's only word of mouth, and as you said, people were kind of suspicious, not suspicious, but they even. I was practicing sports Sambo, and. Immediately, even the article was everything like fighting art of KGB. You know, the KGB had this different type, like what you were teaching, some combat Sambo. True, yes, it was not known, and people. I didn't have means. I didn't have any support from anybody who could really, you know, publicize the sport, which could help me, of course, you know. Tell me frankly, of course, I love my profession also, you know. It was also a conflict between, you don't have to have like a full-time job, you know. If you open a business, open school, you got to contribute to yourself. That was another reason why I did not succeed as I would like to, you know.
And so what year did you stop teaching?
1971.
Oh, okay.
That was 1971 was the end of it. We just distributed leaflets among YMCA. I had a few friends I worked with, you know, they joined the class. I had about maybe 15, 20 students in the beginning, you know. And one of my friends, in fact, he was 6'5", heavyweight. He just loved the sport, and unfortunately he moved out. You know, we're still friends, we're still in touch. Was our beginning of our friendship, but there was beginning of my friendship with other guys still, which later on we kind of just lost track of each other. But in the beginning we were just communicating.
Right.
So sport actually kind of united us a little bit too. Last year, I just took my children on a visit to St. Petersburg, Russia. I met all my friends who most of them were masters of sports in Sambo, and we had they made a big dinner for me, and so we started talking about it as a part of it, invitation to dinner, and they handed over to me the invitation to participate in Sambo Championship of St. Petersburg among veterans. That when I was reading this, you know, I got fascinated. I said, "Wow, there will be a group of 60 people, and older." Well, I'm 70 now. So I'm still willing to compete with younger boys, if you will. So that's why, and I started looking for, you know, on the internet for any sources, what Sambo, maybe if somebody's around. That's how it basically. Sambo never dies. I guess age it doesn't matter. You know, if you fall in love with Sambo some time ago, you always love it. It's in essence, it's I wouldn't say it's a dangerous sport. You know, of course there's injuries, but comparing other sports, you know, I believe that wrestling, you know, in general, just develops young boys particularly, and any man, young man, more harmonically, I mean more proportionally, as opposed like, for instance, boxing, it's more, they have very, the upper body is always developed more against the legs, for instance, because they don't use legs. Whereas wrestling is all, I think it gives you very harmonic development of the body. Well, that's what I would, to current generation and to young generation, I would just say that, as I mentioned, you know, that the wrestling or Sambo sport will give the best body development and also a mind, which is important. When you don't show off that you know Sambo, actually it's a part of the education in Sambo that to teach students that don't ever show off. This is you know your skills, and don't demonstrate it on the street or whatever it is. Don't brag about it. And be a man. It develops a man also, which is a man mentality. It's very good.
Cool.
And competition is, of course, if you're a runner, you have the same distance you run around the time. Although psychologically it's difficult, but here you're competing against. That's an art. Also, you think about it. You know, what would be the best? Compare yourself against. It could be tall, could be big. You know, depending on the opponent, you pick up your strategy.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.